Welcome to Journaling with Nature, the podcast for those who want to turn curiosity into wonder, a pencil sketch into a rabbit hole of discovery, a moment of stillness into a life full of joy. I'm your host, Bethan Burton. Let's open the pages of our nature journals and explore this world together. Hello, this is episode 146. I hope you're well. Did you give the weather log a go from our last prompt? I saw a couple of pages from listeners and it made me so happy to see you taking notes of the weather in your own different ways. The weather here in Brisbane is still completely crazy. It's raining so much it's causing flooding, but I've also noticed a tiny shift, that tiniest inkling that the seasons are about to change. I even put on a cardigan for the first time this season. Have you noticed any changes that might indicate the seasons are making a shift where you are? Today I have a prompt that's really related to my own experience. It's a prompt for myself to return to something that helped me very much in the past, and I hope it will help me again now. If you've been here a while, you might know a little bit about my history. In my 20s and 30s, I was extremely unwell with a chronic illness that doctors couldn't define for a long time. For more than a decade, I tried everything under the sun, conventional and unconventional, and it got worse until I was pretty well incapacitated by my illness. And finally, I found a medical doctor who was able to diagnose me with something called dysautonomia, which is an issue with the functioning of the autonomic nervous system. And from there, I was able to start working on medical interventions that would help. And at the same time, I realized that I needed to calm my mind and my nervous system if I wanted to allow all these medical interventions that I was doing to do their work. And it was around this time when I started nature journaling. I couldn't go out for big adventures, I didn't have the strength, but I was able to go out into my backyard. And I would take my nature journal out there and spend time observing the comings and goings of the animals around me. And I would sit in a deck chair out in the backyard and I had my journal and a pair of binoculars and I would watch a family of crows building a nest and then another family of butcher birds doing the same thing. And this time outside with my nature journal gave me a focus and a pause in my anxiety and something to focus on outside of myself that wasn't about me and it wasn't about my illness. And it worked. It calmed me down and it calmed my nervous system. And it really allowed me, along with all the medical treatments that my doctor was doing, to get into an upward spiral with my health. And as time went on, I got stronger and stronger. And for years now, I've been living a life that I couldn't have imagined back then when I was unwell. And I've been so grateful for this health. But lately, I've found myself slipping back into that illness. I'm not sure why or what's changed, but I've been exhausted and really struggling with my old symptoms. And it's scary to be back here, and it's hard not to project into the what ifs and think about the future. But I know what helped me before, and so I've been seeing my doctor and I'll access those medical treatments that I know helped me in the past. And I need to get back into immersing myself in my journal for the sole purpose of being connected and calm. I noticed when I started journaling with nature as a business, my nature journaling changed and I was thinking about how my pages could be used to educate about nature journaling rather than just being purely for me. So for a while I'm getting back on track, I'm going to make sure I do some journaling every day that's just for me, and I'm going to intentionally drop into that place of calm with it. I think there's a lot of ways to nature journal, and some people really do it as a scientific exercise or to learn about natural history or to improve their observation or art skills. And all of these are totally valid. But for me, right now, what I need is nature journaling for calm and quiet connection. In the past, I found it really calming to always journal in the same place. I got to know all the plants and animals that I could see from that place. And this particular practice is called having a sit spot. You might have come across this concept before. A sit spot is a place that you can visit, preferably every day, and by returning to the same place again and again, you're able to deepen your relationship with what's there. and you can watch the changes that are happening around you and get familiar with the stories that are unfolding day by day. For me, in the past, I was in the Brisbane suburbs, and from my sit spot, I watched these families of birds preparing their nests for spring. Now I live in a different home and I have more nature around me, and I'm lucky enough to have a little pond at the bottom of my garden, and there's a bench seat there that's become my sit spot in this location. So I plan to go there every day with the purpose of nature journaling for quiet, calm, and healing, without any intention to share my pages or to make something presentable or any other purpose except this. And I invite you to do the same. You don't have to be struggling with your health to benefit from this practice, because I think all of us can benefit from taking a moment to be calm and still away from the busyness of life. When you're doing this, think of it as a type of moving meditation almost, a time to be in the present moment with all the sights and sounds and smells and sensations around you in the natural world. Let yourself drop into this moment and just be. This is a state of presence that can be really hard to find in the world we live in, with technology constantly pulling our attention to other things. Come to think of it, that's going to be an important part of this exercise, leaving the phone on silent or leaving it indoors where it can't tempt us. Back when I was going through this before, I didn't own a phone, and so this wasn't a problem, but definitely I feel the pull of technology now and how it affects me in negative ways. So our prompt is focus on nature journaling for calm and healing. And that can be healing in whatever way speaks to your situation. It could be just a calm, healing moment away from a busy day. For me, it will be calming the nervous system enough for my body to gain strength and to start to heal again. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this or your experiences. You can leave a comment below this episode on the Journaling with Nature website, and I'll leave a link in the show notes that will take you there. Thank you so much for listening. See you next week.